It's long past time that we reauthorize WIA, and it's a tragedy that this reauthorization process is becoming partisan. The bill we're considering today cuts away at WIA under the guise of improving it. And some of you will remember that in 1998, the initial authorization of WIA was a model of bipartisan cooperation. I was not in Congress at the time, but I was running. I was involved in a campaign as a candidate at that time, and I followed the process closely. And I remember eminent journalist David Broder wrote a column entitled "A Leg Up for U.S. Workers," which is exactly what WIA has become. He also noted that WIA was 5 years in the making, and it only became law because of bipartisan efforts by members of Congress at the time. He reported Senator Wellstone and Senator DeWine, opposite sides of the aisle, leaving the floor together. Senator Wellstone turned to Senator DeWine and, according to Broder, said, "Mike, this may not be the lead story tonight on the network news, but it's a good piece of work. We should be modernizing WIA." And here we are considering what's a partisan reauthorization bill. I really want to thank Representatives Tierney and Hinojosa and Miller for introducing a sensible and comprehensible WIA reauthorization bill. You would think we could agree on measuring performance of each kind of activity and program and each kind of worker and prospective worker, and we can't even get that far. I want to mention two provisions in the Tierney bill that I'm particularly interested in. A few years ago, I introduced the Online Job Training Act to modernize WIA. It's based on a successful program at Rutgers that gave single mothers computers and internet access. And people said, "Oh no, they'll misuse it, they'll play games, they'll walk off with the computers." No, they were not being served by the traditional system, and it worked. I also want to talk about another provision of the bill. In this day and age, our local libraries are job placement agencies. They're playing an important role in helping the public find employment. And I'm pleased that Mr. Tierney's bill includes portions of legislation that I have called workforce investment through local libraries, the WILL Act. And that's what I wanted to ask you about. Let me start with Mr. Van Clunen. Do you know of WIA-sponsored organizations coordinating or working with libraries with regard to workforce activities? And then, as time allows, let me ask the others, please.
So yes, I mean, I think that one of the things that whatever we're doing in the future of WIA is that we need to figure out how to use community institutions that already are in existence, whereby we're not forcing everybody to go down to one physical one-stop in order to be able to find out what jobs are available or what services are available to them. And I think that we have WIA systems throughout the country who are trying to do this with institutions like local libraries. I know in Philadelphia, the library system is now playing a big leading role in adult literacy services and trying to align that with what's going on with job training in the city. So I think it's an opportunity. I think it's kind of a lesson to a larger goal, which is trying to make sure that we're using our existing community-based infrastructure as different entry points into our WIA system.
Ms. Harmson?
Yes, we in San Bernardino County do work with our libraries. We also work with other areas. We work in some areas because our county is so big. Our county is larger than many states. And so we have to address the needs. When you look at our high desert area and then our low desert, it's very, very different from the looks of our East Valley and West Valley. And so what we've done is gone into those communities, and in some areas we have brought in the technology into the chamber's offices or into the city hall. They've made an office, provided office space for us to be able to provide services to their to customers who come in, both business and job seeker.
Ms. Moran or Ms. Noble, could either of you give specifics of coordination with local libraries?
Yes, thank you, Congressman. The BTOP program was very successfully implemented in our state, in that we focused that money to help rural areas get broadband. And because of that, and we specifically planned it so that the workforce community could deliver services through the libraries, because there are libraries all over the state. And before then, our summer programs, for example, for our young people, it would take them 3 hours to go to a center to get the program, where by using the libraries and the infrastructure that was put in place, we could do that. When we rolled out our OKJobMatch.com, one of the first groups that we went to was to train librarians, and they applauded us because they had done their own survey and found that as you said, a lot of time is being spent by librarians in helping people not to find a book but to find a job.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Holt.